Going on? I hope that you are doing fantastic. Today, what we are doing is we are looking at YouTube channels. So we've actually had a pretty busy week looking at YouTube channels. We're going to keep it up. What we are doing today is we are looking at your YouTube channel. This is 100% free, courtesy of TubeSpanner. And basically how this whole thing works is I'm going to put a word into the chat here in just a little bit. And when I put that word into the chat, and we're going to do this, a nice handful of times, but when I put that word into the chat, all you need to do is put that word into the chat as well. Or I'm sorry, I'm going to show it on screen, and then you put it into chat, and the system that I'm using from StreamYard will randomly select somebody out of the chat that entered the same word. So really easy, and it's randomized, so anybody can participate, and you do not have to, pay anything for it or anything like that. Now, in terms of the channels that I'm looking at, sometimes I spend a little bit more on, some channels than I do other channels. There's no real rhyme or reason. It'll just be based on the things that I see. And it'll also be things like, okay, well, is this content creator like aggressively uploading, or they still have a bunch of stuff that they need to kind of get out of the way before, the other things that I might say in that scenario would, make sense, and, those types of things. So, yeah, so in a nutshell, what we're going to be doing is looking at your channels, and we're going to go ahead and just get into it so we can go ahead and get this party started, because we don't want to waste time, so that we can get to as many of these puppies as possible. So the very first word that we're going to put in here, of course, is going to be TubeSpanner. So all you have to do for this, again, is just put TubeSpanner into the chat right now. I'm going to widen this up a little bit, kind of. Let me be able to see this here just a little bit better. There we go. So yeah, just put TubeSpanner into the chat. And when you do that, what's going to happen is this tool that I'm using to collect those, it's going to just, be collecting all the people, the names, the channel names of everybody that puts the word TubeSpanner into the chat right now. And once we get just a few more, I'm just going to go ahead and pull it, and then we're going to start digging in. So some of the things that we look for here is we look for, thumbnails. We look for clarity of the channel overall. We look at your publishing schedule. We look in your description sometimes to see if there's any opportunities that you're missing in terms of monetization, that sort of thing. But we just kind of, to give an overview, a surface level overview. So, people typically get, a decent amount of value out of these. And the way that you get the most value out of this, of course, is if your channel's picked. But in addition to that, if your channel does not get picked, if you just take notes on what it is that we're talking about, or about these other channels, and you just ask yourself, hey, the thing that he's mentioning to this channel that they can improve on, is this something that I'm currently doing? Is that thing that he's talking about with their thumbnails or their titles, is that something that I'm doing? Is that something that I can do differently? And start looking at it that way. And just a heads up, just in case you don't know, TubeSpanner actually has a notepad where you can take notes during this live stream, or when you're watching any video on YouTube. You can even use them for adding not captions, but timestamps to your videos and that sort of thing. But TubeSpanner, just so you know, because this is courtesy of TubeSpanner, and we are here on the TubeSpanner channel, TubeSpanner is a workflow tool for YouTube content creators. It helps you with all kinds of different things. There's script writers in there, AI script writers in there. You can make thumbnails with it. You can take notes on other videos. There's an upload assistant. So when you're uploading videos, it helps you do it more efficiently. I'll dive into it here in a little bit. I actually have it updating on this computer, because I haven't been on this computer here for I don't know, probably 2 weeks or maybe 3 weeks. So I actually have it updating in the background, but I'll actually show you a little demo of it here later. But in the meantime,
let's get this thing spinning.
Here we go. So exciting. Wonder who it's going to be. Wonder who we're going to pull up. Okay, Open Air Outdoors. So I'm going to guess that you're rolling with a outdoors channel here. Let me go ahead and get this over here into YouTube. Okay, bam, nailed it right out of the gate here. Let me see if this update has happened. It has. Yeah, really quick. This is the upload tool that I was talking about. So with the upload assistant, check this out really quick, and then we'll look at the channels. But yeah, so basically with this, like for example, for different live streams, you see how I have, because I live stream on a bunch of different channels. So you can see here how I've got all the different channels in here based on what it is that I'm doing. And I've also got some video, related stuff in here too. But when I do my Saturday streams, there's a lot of stuff I put in the description. For that one, I just click it. And then when I click it, It just adds everything that I need in there, which is fantastic. And it works that way for everything. In addition to that, you can add whatever links it is that you can customize. You can also add direct videos into your description and all that with just a few clicks. Super cool tool. If you're a content creator, excuse me, I like had something go down the wrong tube there. But if you're a content creator, TubeSpanner is one of those tools. I would say there's probably 5 core tools that every creator should be using. TubeSpanner is one of them. So you can try it out at TubeSpanner.com to see what it can do for you. So the very first thing that I do when I'm looking at channels is I just look for clarity, right? Like if I was a viewer and I landed on your channel page, like let's say I watched one of your videos and I was like, hey, this is great. And I landed on your channel page. What's the first thing that I would like uncover from your channel? Would I be able to quickly and easily understand what it is that you're offering me as a viewer on your YouTube channel? So right here, we have open air outdoors. You got outdoor imagery. Right here, I'm guessing you're doing something about outdoors. My eye goes up to the top. I see camping, fishing, exploring, canoeing, hunting. Yeah, you're definitely doing outdoor stuff. It's pretty clear. Here in this area, you have the outdoorsman and me sharing my outdoor adventures. Again, also very clear. As we scroll down the page, you have channel trailer here with welcome to open air outdoors. So a couple things just in terms of first impressions. So I'm not sure what you're doing, if this whole thing is square like this. Yeah, it is. Yeah, so one thing that I would do just to kind of modernize, because this was uploaded 3 years ago, if you're gonna have a channel trailer, I would modernize it, because this almost looks like something that you kind of repurposed in here off of like Instagram or something. So I would definitely update that so it is, ratio correct. Also, keep in mind that you do have an opportunity down here to textually, right? Because you're going to have people that are going to be watching this video anyway. But textually, you also have the opportunity here to kind of pitch your channel to people and let them know, hey, on this channel, this is what we do, right? And by doing that, it gives you the opportunity to, 1, give them something to read while they're watching the video, but 2, also just kind of sell the channel a little bit, right? Like, hey, this is what I'm doing, and I want you to join me for the journey. So that's just a missed opportunity right there. Not something's going to move the needle for you. We're going to talk about that stuff here in a minute, but that's just a little housekeeping thing. So looking at your For You. So I always look at this because sometimes channels will upload different types of content over time. And when I land here on the For You, sometimes it's not relevant, but it looks like all the content that you have here, it looks like it is relevant, at least at a glance, to the content that you're currently publishing on the channel, which is good. If we scroll down here and we start looking at your content, the very first thing that I want to bring to your attention as an opportunity that you're missing is when it comes to your channel page here, you have the opportunity to start breaking these things down here on your channel page. So for example, your camping content that might go into one playlist, your ASMR content that might go into another playlist. And the idea is that you make sections on each individual type of content that you make, and then you add those playlists as sections, and you do this in your customization settings in your Creator Studio backend. But you add those playlists as sections here on your channel page. And then that way, let's say that I came and I watched this video right here, and I was like, hey, let me check out the channel. And then I go and I click on your channel name and I land on your channel page. As I'm scrolling down the page, it makes it easy for me to find more content of yours that I want to watch. So that's just a good practice for making it easier for your viewers to find more content of yours that they're interested in, and to be able to categorize it that way. Because if you have somebody coming in and they love your camping content, but they don't care about the ASMR stuff, it makes it easy for them to find that camping content. So let's see what we got here. I love that you're doing longer videos. Longer videos are a win on YouTube as long as people are making it through them. So the very first thing that I would do with some of these long videos that you're publishing, unless you're also publishing for the memory. If you're publishing for the memory, then in that case, you don't need to do this. But if you're trying to grow the YouTube channel, I would go into your audience retention reports, which is a second-by-second graph that we get for every video that we publish to YouTube. And it shows how people respond to our content over time on average. It shows parts of the video where people leave. It shows where they rewind and will rewatch a part. It shows the parts of the videos they skip. I would start going through that across your videos, because you have, a decent amount of videos here. I would start going through your videos and just looking for things like, okay, when we show these things more, does the line kind of flatten out where people are more interested in those particular parts? When we're showing these other things, are people skipping some of those parts, right? So they can get more to those parts that they're looking for. Is there anything that we're doing where people are, where people are rewinding and they're looking to see, what it is that is, going on in that particular video? Maybe they're looking for more detail about those types of things. And if you take notes on that over time, then one of the things that can be helpful is that you'll start to understand the things that people like to see and the things that they don't. And then you can focus more on the things that they like to see and the things that they, really, get out of your content. But there's a bigger thing here. So you're doing outdoor content, which is fantastic. But one thing to keep in mind is when it comes to YouTube, making your channel a resource for a certain type of content is really important. And you're doing that mostly, but you are throwing in some outliers. And those outliers, I think, are not doing you any favors in terms of helping you grow a core audience that will come in and watch most of the videos that you are publishing. And really quick, Danny D just says, how do we get reviewed? If you are just coming in, what we're doing is we're looking at YouTube channels. And the way that you get reviewed is here, after I'm done with this channel, I'm going to put a word, which previously it was TubeSpanner, but I'm going to put a word into this giveaway tool right here. I just put it right here. And then I hit start collecting comments, and then it's going to show the word real big on the screen. All you have to do is type that word into the chat that shows up here, and then it will put you in the list here of possibly getting chosen. It's totally random. It just randomly picks people out of the chat that put in that word, and that word means that they're wanting to to have the channel looked at. But couple things. So the very first would be, and by the way, this sketch tool that I'm using is also a TubeSpanner tool, by the way. But if you look at this one, right, you have old rusty lantern restoration. And then up here, you have camping. And then here, you have ASMR, camping gear maintenance. Okay, so that would be kind of together. So a few things just to bring to your attention here. The very first is the people that are interested in restoration, and this is at scale, right? Because yes, there's going to be some people that are crossover, but I'm talking about at scale, and I'm going to explain why this is important. So the people that are going to come in for this rusty lantern restoration video, those people might not necessarily care about any of this other stuff, right? They might not be into the outdoors at all. They might not be into anything like that. They might just enjoy watching content about restorations. They might like that process, right? So because of that, when you publish videos like this, and it's cool to, test stuff and just try things and stuff like that. I mean, that's how you, figure things out. But one of the things when you are putting out content like this, that's kind of an outlier and kind of outside of what it is that you normally do, is like worst case scenario situations. And some of those worst case scenario situations can be to where you publish something like this and people love that video, but they don't love all the other stuff that you do. And you end up growing your YouTube channel on content that isn't in alignment with the people that you're actually trying to reach and the content that you're actually trying to put out, which can then just kind of put you in this hole, so to speak, where everything that you're publishing, it doesn't matter what you do, you just can't get traction on anything because the people that YouTube thinks are a good fit for your content are the people that are interacting with this content, because those are the people that are coming in, watching that video, subscribing to the channel, interacting with that particular video. So when you publish a different video, then YouTube shows it to some of those people first. And when they don't respond, that tells YouTube that those most engaged people are not interested in that particular video. And because of that, it can hurt the initial performance of the video. Now, yes, without question, they can, find an audience for the content later. But the problem is that you're initially confusing their system on who it is that should be, presented your content. So because of that, it can be really helpful to just make sure that you get clear on, okay, I'm publishing videos here and I'm kind of sharing my story and sharing my love of the outdoors, but who is it exactly that I'm trying to reach, and what type of content do those people like to watch? So I'm going to guess in your case, it would be outdoor content. So when you come to conclusions like that, then when you have the option to publish this type of content on your main channel here, I would save that for either another channel or maybe makes a mixed channel or something like that, where you just kind of put up those things that you want to do, and then try to grow a main channel around a particular type of viewer that's interested in very specific things. And same thing with the ASMR too, like with this. And I saw your message in here saying that this was a one-off. This is another scenario like that. When it comes to this sort of thing, like it's certain types of people that like to watch this. Some of them will, cross over into some of the other outdoor stuff. Maybe like this one, like a backcountry explorer or something like that. But some of the like tips and things like that, they're not necessarily going to care too much about that, because they're just watching it for the sound and to just kind of, listen and, all of that stuff. I actually watch a little bit of ASMR, like that type of thing. Like, can't remember the channel off the top of my head, but when YouTube recommends it to me, I watch. But it's like a dude, he has like a Jeep, and it's like one of the, like a big Jeep, and he basically will just go and just drive, and then he like pulls all the stuff out of the Jeep and will build like his tent, and he sits in there, and then he's got the inside thing of his tent where he's getting all this cooking stuff together, and it just sounds great, and you hear the rain on the tent. It's super soothing. But I like that content when YouTube shows it to me, and when I see that stuff on TikTok too. But I could care less about watching like camping videos, if that person were like talking and things like that. And that's what I mean. I'm not saying what you're doing is wrong. I'm just saying that for people that are into that ASMR content, a lot of those people aren't going to care about, the other stuff that you're doing. So one filter that you can do in order to make sure that everything that you're uploading is a good fit for a particular type of viewer is just ask yourself, well, two things. First, define who that is and say, okay, who is it that I'm actually trying to connect with on here? And try to get as specific as you can. So like, for example, outdoor enthusiasts, that's really open. But, male outdoor enthusiasts about this particular age range that are into these very specific, things about the outdoors, that's a much better path, right? Than just general, outdoor stuff. Also, am I connecting with people that like to follow me on the journey of camping and just kind of watch what I do and just kind of hear my stories? Or am I trying to help people that are interested in camping better understand, like, different things to do to have a better experience, little tips and tricks about camping and general outdoor stuff, because those are also two different types of people, two different types of viewers. So you have the one camp that's like, hey, I'm getting into the outdoor stuff, so I'm watching all these videos, learning how to, do boats and store boats and, things like that, and how to do tents and pick camping spots and all that. And then you have other types of viewers that are like, you know what, I live in the city. I'm probably not going to go camping, but I just want to, follow this person on all these outdoor adventures because this is kind of how I get that kind of stuff, right? So when you just get clear on who it is that you're trying to reach, it can help you better nail that viewer. And the reason that I mentioned like the demographic information and kind of breaking down the specific things of the outdoors is because then you can start making those references in your videos as well. So when they're interacting with the content, they know you're talking to them, right? So I would definitely keep that in mind. Two, and this is the only place that I see you doing this at a glance is this one ASMR video. So I won't go on this one for too long. But when it comes to your titles, I'm not sure why this 7 is in here. I don't know if that was like a copy and paste from like your notepad of like the videos that you're putting out or whatever. But I would definitely get that out of there because there's no real use for that there. So I just wanted to mention that here really quick. Another thing is when you look at how you're packaging your videos, first off, like some of this imagery that you're using, like this is really cool. But one thing that I would do is I would try to get a little bit more compelling with the titles, because here you have like a backcountry explorer, which kind of suggests that like you're just kind of randomly doing stuff, which is cool. But leveling that up to make it something that people can actually connect with, like this backcountry lake was extra serene. or this backcountry lake was the most relaxing adventure I've had, or something like that. And the reason for that is because it adds those things to your title that people can connect with, right? Because then it's like, oh, it's a relaxing thing. So hey, I could actually use that right now. Let me check this out. Or it's whatever emotion that you want to attach to it. I would just consider doing that sort of thing with your titles as well, to where it makes it feel like, oh yeah, I kind of want to check that out. Long fire cooking bear sausages. So also, when it comes to titles like this, I would also just write like a sentence and focus it on like a on a thing, like let's see, we have bushcraft, tarp camping, long fire cooking bear sausages. Yeah, something like this camping trip was this camping trip. What could we do there? And I'm just spitballing here, like on the spot. Like if I was actually writing these titles, I would, of course, have like a Google Doc out, and I'd be sitting there going through it. But like, but just off the top of my head, something like, again, this camping trip was, I don't know, was one of my best, or this camping trip was, extra. Just looking for words here. But you get the idea, right? Just trying to frame it in a different way that makes it more interesting from the outside. Because what you're doing here is fine because you're being informative, right? So it's fine. But when you start adding those things that people can connect to that make it more interesting, then it takes it from being like, okay, this is informative, to this is compelling. And what you ultimately want is, okay, how can we make this compelling so that people don't want to just glance over it, but to where they want to give it a second and be like, hey, let me check this out. This seems like something that's interesting, right? Another thing, like on this particular thumbnail too, like this is pretty clear in terms of it being a lake. This one's a little bit more difficult. You have the word camping on here, so that kind of carries the weight on there. But since it is camping, one thing to consider is also testing a thumbnail that is more of like the camping setup. So if you're doing like your tarp camping, maybe having, if you have a cool shot of that, maybe trying that in there and seeing if people respond to that imagery more than a campfire. And the reason that I'm saying that is because camping is carrying the weight on this. I think the fire, at a glance, right, as somebody that isn't familiar with with what it is that is in the video or anything like that, at a glance, it's kind of hard to make out. Like I got to think about it. Like, what is that? And when it comes to YouTube recommendations, if people have like a whole grid of videos to choose from on a homepage, people aren't like looking at thumbnails and trying to figure stuff out. They're like, oh, hey, this looks like something I'm interested in, or hey, this looks like something I'm interested in, because it's clear. So because of that, I would definitely try to just make it a little, if you are going to use the fire thing, try to make it just a little bit more obvious, or just experiment and see if people like the the tent stuff in terms of click-through rate. Yeah, so this is a resort. Yeah, this is another one to where in terms of like, if this is like like a holiday video where you went on vacation or something like that, this is another one to where, even though people enjoyed this one might be the wrong audience for what it is that you're actually trying to do on the channel. And those types of things are important because, like I mentioned before, like with this video, in terms of like if it takes off, fighting against the current in terms of like people are coming in for that video and then you're making these other videos that they're not into. The same thing can happen here, right? Because you had like 1.3 thousand views on this one, which is a great opportunity to get people more involved in what it is that you're doing. But when you follow it up with something like this, and then things like this that are irrelevant to this particular audience, it makes it hard for people to follow along with the journey, right? And this is more important, like as you are kind of where you're at right now. It's more important, like as you're trying to get that foothold and pick up like real momentum on your channel. That sort of thing is even more important. Once you got like tons and tons of like really engaged viewers, then it kind of opens you up for things like that, to where you can be like, hey, let me put this one out, and you're going to have a large percentage of people that are going to come in and watch it just because they like you and what it is that you're doing. But right now, to get that initial momentum, I would just focus everything on like, okay, this is all about them. This is focused on a very specific type of viewer, the entire channel. And I'm trying to build this resource for them. So if they're into the outdoors, on whichever path you want, teach them about the outdoors or just taking them on adventures, whichever version of that it is, like I want to have the best, channel for that on YouTube. And then make sure that every video that you're publishing is for that specific audience. Out of curiosity here. Okay, so you also, so you had a video pop that also wasn't about the outdoors either. Fan and Trapper Calf. Okay, this one kind of is. Yeah, that one's not either. Yeah, so unfortunately, some of like your bigger videos aren't necessarily even about what it is that you're doing now either, unfortunately. So yeah, like step number one, and this step right here, just to be upfront with you, it's the hardest. Like saying to yourself and kind of digging up your sleeves or rolling up your sleeves and doing a little bit of homework. But saying to yourself, like, okay, I'm going to turn this channel into, something of value for people that are into the outdoors. And I'm only going to publish videos on it that are in alignment with that. Then what happens? And keep in mind, this is only if you're like, hey, I really want to like grow this channel and I want to kind of speed things up. If that's what you're after, then, then listen to that part. But if you're like, hey, man, chill out. I'm just like uploading videos, just sharing the stuff that I like. And if I get, a lot of views or not, I don't care if I get a lot of subscribers or not. I don't care. I'm just like, just sharing my stuff. That's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But all the information that I'm sharing is like, if you are somebody that is trying to, get that, initial momentum to like really start making things move more on the channel, then I would definitely do the hard part of, okay, I'm gonna commit to the next at least 90 days of making content that is for a very specific type of viewer. And before I commit to making a video, I'm going to ask myself, is this video idea something that will be a good fit for the people that I'm actually trying to grow a community around with my YouTube channel? And if the answer is yes, put it on there. If the answer is no, then in that case, I would put it on like another channel where you just throw up like mixed content for the sake of, just putting it out there. So hopefully that helps. Just a heads up. So for you and anybody else that we look at your YouTube channels, if you have any questions about any of the things that I mentioned, you need clarity on anything, my DMs are open on Twitter. So just say at the top of the message, you looked at my channel on the TubeSpanner live stream, and that helps me just be able to identify those as they come in, because the nature of the content that I make on my main channel, because I help YouTubers with YouTube, is I get a lot of, people outreaching in DMs and stuff. So just put that in there, and then it'll become like a priority message, so to speak. All right. Next up on our list here, the next word we're going to use, I'm going to hide it here from you. 86, what's up, dude? Hope you're doing great. Doug Houston, what's going on, man? Hope you're doing great. Let's see here. Okay, next up, we've got TubeSpanner AI scripts is going to be our word. It's a long one. I know I'm trying to make your thumbnails tired, or not your thumbnails, your fingers tired. So Open Air Outdoors says, my content is seasonal, so it's a bit challenging sometimes. Yeah, it really is. Like, when you make seasonal content, it's definitely challenging. So if it's seasonal because you just don't like going out in the wintertime, then, that's different. But like, if you are like, hey, I just have these times a year where I can make the content. One thing that I do recommend is on the off season is plan like what it is that you're going to do, and also plan while you're on those trips. Like, hey, these are some videos that I can make. So one thing that can be, or that you can do on a YouTube channel, but it can throw you into a situation where, you might not be sitting it in the direction that you want. But technically, you can have 2 pillars of content on your channel. I mean, you can have, a bunch of pillars on your channel. It's still best if they're all targeted towards the same type of viewer. By pillars, I mean different content types with different offerings inside. it's helpful if they're all targeted towards the same type of viewer like me. For example, I've got growth stuff, I've got AI tools for creators, I've got live streaming tips, I've got, like that kind of stuff, but it's all focused towards content creators. So if a content creator lands on my main YouTube channel, then in that case, they can just hit my videos page and they will find something else that they can get value from. So it's really helpful there. But one thing you can do is you can say, you know what, I'm going to do like camping tips, and I'm going to do, the exploration type things where I'm like doing all these cool things and I'm taking people on the journey with me. And when you're planning it all out, be like, okay, I'm going on this trip. And while I'm on this trip, these are probably going to be some things that I'm going to be able to share in terms of tips that I might be able to make videos around those things while I'm out there. And then by doing that, that would give you the opportunity to say, maybe have some of the adventure stuff for when everybody's, like if everybody's inside for the winter. So then you can at least give them that. I would look in your stats for this though, just to make sure to see if you get, if you tank in the wintertime because people aren't watching that content. But when it comes to like camping tips, you could be doing all of that in season and then switch it to your adventures in off season. But the only downside of that is you are dividing, the audience, which is a really important part of like really getting good momentum. So what you might end up with if you do that sort of thing is you might end up to where it's like, okay, I'm going to do the adventure stuff. And then I'm also going to do tips. And even though it's going to be bringing in two different types of viewers, hopefully I can get some of these people from the tips over into my adventures and vice versa. But some of them were just going to be out of an alignment, and I expect that, right? Or I accept that. So, you can take that approach too. But the idea is basically batch creating content while you're there so that you can, because you're making some really long videos, but batch create content while you're there so that you can, kind of supplement, in the off season. All right, here we go.
Let's get this thing spinning.
Okay, we got road reality. Da-na-na. I feel like it's gonna be like a semi truck racing down the road. Let's see what we got here. Moto vlogs, pretty close. Okay, moto vlog, it's completely opposite of a semi truck. I'm like, hey, pretty close. Yeah, it's like semi trucks are like one of the biggest things you can drive, and then the motorcycles are one of the smallest. That's great. Okay, so motovlogs, editing tutorials, and gear reviews. Okay, so based on the last conversation, you're probably already going to know what it is that I'm going to say, but we're gonna go through it anyway. Okay, so step number one. Let's get this out here. Step number one is road reality. Okay, motovlogs, editing tutorials. So it's clear what it is that you're offering, but I think that you are working against yourself if you are still actively offering all three. Victims, all that's cool for you. This is all writing related things, and then DaVinci Resolve. Okay, this is a great place to kind of represent this idea. So 2 years, 3 years, 2 years, 3 years. Okay, so it looks like maybe you're not doing editing. Oh no, 2 days ago you are definitely doing editing. So you've got 4 days ago riding your bike, 2 days ago how to create transparent PNGs in DaVinci Resolve. Okay, and then here how YouTubers make a living at content creation. Okay, so right here, what you are doing is you are reaching people that are into motorcycle things here, people that are into motorcycle things here, content creators here, and content creators here. So the thing that you're doing right now is you are working against yourself. And the reason that you're working against yourself is because a lot of the people that are going to be interacting with this content are not going to, with the DaVinci Resolve content, are not going to care about motorcycle gear. They're not going to care about your fixing your handling problem on your bike. They're not going to care about the Harley Davidson in a very specific location closing. They're not going to care about any of that stuff, right? And then the same thing happens in the other direction too. So even though you might have like a few people that cross over at scale, which is what you need to, how you need to approach it if you're trying to, grow, is the people that are riding the bike stuff, most of them aren't going to care about, DaVinci Resolve and, all that stuff either. The only real crossover would be if you made a video about DaVinci Resolve, about how to you know, how to make, you know, amazing motorcycle videos, or how to make, you know, cool videos of your motorbike, or, you know, something like that. Those would be the, you know, that would be the only real crossover. But at the end of the day, I think you're really, really working against yourself, because you run into that problem of, let's say that I watch this video and I'm like, man, it's the best video ever. Or hey, let's do this one because, you know, it closed and you got like 3.7 thousand views on it. So, hey, I watched this video. You had 3.7 thousand people watch this video. They're like, man, this is great. Love the way this dude communicates, loves, you know, his perspective on this. Like, I'm going to subscribe to this channel. I'm going to watch everything this dude publishes. And then you publish here. It's like the roads were abandoned. And they're like, hey, this is cool, man. I'm digging this guy's stuff. I'm watching this one, coming over here, watching this one. And, you know, that's fine. And then you publish this. And they're like, wait, isn't that motorcycle guy? It is, but what's Da Vinci? Like, what is that, an artist? Like, what is Da Vinci? Yeah, I don't even know what that is. I'm not watching that one. See here, did I really find the solution to my handling problem? Oh, hey, we're back on bikes again. Hey, I might watch that one. GoPro back on that one. Oh, wait, what's this? Oh yeah, I don't even know. Transparency and what's a PNG? I'm trying to, you know, cruise around town here, and I got this PNG getting in my way. But you get the idea, right? So so because of that, man, like the very first thing that I would do in your case is I would pick a lane. See what I did there? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be here at least for, you know, the next little bit. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much on the pick a lane statement. But anyway, yeah, I would definitely just pick a lane, and I would serve, you know, one or the other. So I would say, hey, I'm going after motorcycle enthusiasts, or I'm going after content creators. And then whichever one you do it aggressively, or do both, but just do them on separate channels. You don't have to. You're like, you know, dang, so got to split into multiple channels. You don't have to. But what I'm saying is, if you want to increase the results that you're getting, then if you separate it into different channels, you will make a huge difference in how your channel is performing, just based on you being a resource on one channel for video editing and all of that, and then being the resource on another channel for all the but all the motorcycle related things. So you don't have to, but I'm just saying, if you are wanting to, you know, accelerate things, you're wanting to really turn your channel into something to where you're like, yeah, this is, you know, like, you know, you can earn like real money off of it and stuff like that, then yeah, I would definitely separate them. If it was mine, what I would do is I would go in, if this was mine, and again, you don't have to do this. This is your choice to make. But if this was mine, what I would do is I would go in and I'd be like, okay, what am I going to do with this channel? And then I would hit the popular, and I would say, okay, what do we got here? What is it? We've got, okay, 25,000 views. We've got this. I would start adding up all the different views. I would actually do this real easy. Inside of your analytics, you can use the grouping feature, and you can say, these are all my DaVinci Resolve videos. These are all my motorcycle gear videos. These are all my like little personal things, like, hey, I fixed this problem, stuff like that. And you can start looking to see what it is that people have responded to the best during the, you know, duration of your channel. But I would take this channel and I would use that data to decide which piece of content is going to go here. And then anything that wasn't suitable for here, I would completely delete it off of this channel. And I know this hurts. And again, you don't have to do this, but if it was mine, this is what I would do, is I would take it off of this channel, and then I would like completely delete it. You're going to lose the public watch time. You're going to lose the public view counts on the channel. You're going to lose the viewer history data of the people that have interacted with that content, which is actually a win in this scenario. But then I would start uploading the content. I wouldn't do it all in one batch. I would start uploading that content over into the other channel, but it's got to be deleted off of here first. If it was me, that's what I would do. And the reason for that is to make sure that I'm growing a clear resource for a certain type of viewer on each individual channel, so that, one, it trains YouTube's system better for exactly who to show your content to, because how their entire system works, and I'm sure you've ran into this information before. If not, I'm just going to tell you real quick. How their system works is, when people are interacting with your channel, when they are detecting that people are having a positive experience with your content, especially if they're watching like multiple videos and things like that, then what their system does is it looks at their interactions with the YouTube platform, the other content they're watching, the content they're choosing not to watch, all these things. And then it uses all of that for the people that are most engaged to start recommending your content to other people that interact with YouTube and consume similar content as those people. So what happens is it makes it clear within the system also who your content is for. So it ensures that when you publish your videos that they're getting in front of the right people. Right now, things can be a little bit confusing. So what's happening right now is that when you publish one of your DaVinci Resolve videos, some people, that because you have DaVinci Resolve content in your channel, so some of those people are seeing the content. And then you also have some of those motorcycle people that are really engaged in that content. Some of those people are also seeing it because YouTube identifies that they're enjoying your content. And because of that, those people are actually hurting the performance of those videos at the time of publish. If those are all search-based, then in that particular case, in the long play, it's not going to be that big of a deal. But if you're trying to also get recommendation traffic for the, for both types of content, you are essentially ensuring that YouTube is going to be putting the wrong content technically in front of the right people, but they're not going to respond to it because they don't care about that other side of things, right? So if it was me, I would just completely separate them, and then I would just build the resource for both. But again, your call to make. Let's see here. So, and then as soon as you do that, or if you do that, I would also get clear up here on exactly what it is that you offer as well. Yeah, other things that can be helpful too is see here, like, did I really find the solution to my handling problem? Like, this is fine, especially if you have people that keep coming back. They know that you're having a handling problem, things like that. When you publish this and you've been kind of, dragging that, concept along, then some people come in, they'll be like, oh yeah, oh, we got it figured out, right? But for the general public, when you put out a video like this, I would also try to frame it differently. And that framing happens at the time that you decide to make the video before you even make the video. So here, instead of did I find the solution to my handling problem, if this was more viewer focused, it would be, having handling problems with your motorcycle, watch this. Or, how I fixed the handling problem on my motorcycle, or, something like that. Or how you can fix handling problems on your motorcycle, something along that. And then you basically, since you're going to frame it that way from the outside, then when you go to make the video itself, then you make sure that you build it in that way. Yeah, other things too. And this is same thing on the compelling nature, like the one that I was the channel that I was looking at before this one is, you see this over here where it has, oh, here, let me make this bigger. Sorry. See right here how it has new riding season, time for new gear, ? So again, this is one where it is absolutely informative, right? So it's not that you're doing anything wrong here. It's just that there's better approaches to the idea. So new riding season, time for gear. It's clear what this is about, right? You're even holding the glove, right? So it's clear that this has something to do with, like, okay, it's new riding season. If you're a motorcycle rider in your area, you're going to know that, or in your country, you're going to know that. And then is it time for new gear, right? Like, you're being informative, which is the right thing to do. But if you wanted to make it better, then in that case, framing the entire thing around, gear that all motorcycle riders need for the new riding season, right? Then instantly it becomes more compelling. And again, this starts at the ideation stage where you're like, yeah, this is the video that I'm going to make. This is how I'm going to frame it. So basically you start loosely thinking about, or get very specific about, the thumbnail and title that you're going to make before you make the video. Then you build the entire video around that, to where it's like, hey, if you're riding a motorcycle, these are the things that I found that that I believe every motorcycle rider needs to have. And then as soon as they come into the video, they get that confirmation, and then they're, settled in for the ride. Ooh, man, I'm like burning these like motorcycle references out. This is great. Love this channel. But anyway, this is how I entertain myself while going live stream. So bear with me. But yeah, when you frame it that way, then the difference that you're making there is you take it from, like, this is being informative, to where, like, yeah, somebody could watch it or they'd be fine not watching it, to, hey, I ride motorcycles and this person has this video. saying that these are, five, or however many, gear that, you recommend for motorcycles or whatever. So this is something that I feel that I like need to watch, right? To make sure that I have all this stuff lined up because it is riding season. Maybe something new came out, right? And when you start trying to be more compelling, you're not trying to be clickbaity. You're just trying to be more compelling with what it is that you are offering or how you're framing the content that you're publishing. And when you do that, people they respond to that. So I would definitely just consider that when you're writing your titles. Another thing too, just really quick. When it comes to the imagery that you are using, especially since this one's brand new, let me just refresh real quick, see if you've got some people coming in here. Okay, since this one's new, another thing that I would consider, if I'm not sure if you watch my regular content or not, if you've been here in other streams, but when I'm talking about thumbnails, one of the things that I really try to focus people on is that your thumbnails are a tool to grab somebody's attention around something that they are interested in. So right here, the thing that you're leveraging in terms of the imagery is a glove. Some people will connect with that. But the thing that people would probably connect to more for the people that you're trying to reach is a motorcycle, right? Because then they instantly know when they see the thumbnail, they don't have to read the title. When they see the thumbnail, they instantly know that this video has something to do with a motorcycle. And then from there, they'll go down to the title and then see what the title is, and then they'll make the choice to come into the video or not. So since you are trying to reach people around, and I know I understand what you're doing here in terms of like, hey, this is about the gear, so I'm showing the gear. I get it. But again, the thumbnail is to grab their attention, and then the title lets them know about that it's about the gear, right? So because of that, I would definitely experiment with this. If you have just like a cool picture, of your motorcycle or whatever, have that maybe, if you have like have a motorcycle, and then if you do talk about anything in this video that's an actual accessory that you would put on a motorcycle, have the motorcycle, and then have just like an arrow pointing to like one part of the motorcycle with one of those accessories that you talk about, and then see if people respond to that more. This is way better than the one we just did, by the way. Yeah, this is another one. Like, it's like the roads were abandoned. Like, this is okay, but this is another one to where, in terms of like being able to capture them at a glance, you have where is everyone, which, can be, interesting. But I would definitely put more emphasis on the actual motorcycle itself so that, people that are familiar with that view, so that it's like, oh, hey, this is something about motorcycles, right? I would definitely do that. Kind of like what you're doing here. Like you're already doing it here. So, the concept I'm explaining right now, you're already doing it with some of these things. Like here, you've got the, what does GoPro's auto boost actually do? Even though, and I'm just going to talk about this one real quick too, because I don't know which way you're, going to take the channel, or if you're going to keep doing it the way that you are. But like, this is another one to where when it comes to the thing that people are focusing on, the thing that actually grabs the most attention here is this. And the second thing is you. And the third thing is the thing that should be the most, this GoPro should be the star of this thumbnail, right? So when it comes to, capturing attention, you're doing it right here, because in this case, even though you are like one of the primary focuses, this still actually grabs your eye first. So like here, you're doing the right thing because you're showing the logos in there and letting people know that it, has something to do with DaVinci Resolve. So you're doing the right thing in this one. But on this one, I would definitely focus it more on the GoPro. So this has been up for 2 weeks. So you have information in terms of click-through rate on how people are responding to this video at the click-through rate level. One thing that I recommend that you do if you're open for this is to save this thumbnail, right? So you don't discard it in case it ends up performing better, because this is all about testing, right? To figure out what your audience responds to. But basically swap this thumbnail out, download it, or if you have it on your computer, keep it. And then focus on take one photo of the GoPro, just like sitting on a desk or sitting on a table outside, whatever, and just put the GoPro here. Leave a little bit of space around it so it looks like a good image, but just focus this on the GoPro by itself. and then monitor your click-through rate and see if that improves your click-through rate, specifically from home pages and suggested videos. So the way that you can do this is you can just go in and just see, what your click-through rate is on those traffic sources. In order to find this, you go into your Creator Studio for the video, Creator Studio, Content tab, then into this particular video, then go into the analytics for that video. It's going to be over on the left-hand side. Then up on the top right, you're going to see text that says advanced mode. Click into that. And then you're going to see, going across like the middle of the screen around right here, you're going to see traffic sources as one of the options you can click on in that navigation that's going across the screen. Click on that. It's going to show you your traffic sources report. And then you're going to be able to see your click-through rate from home pages, suggested videos, YouTube search, and everything else. So screen cap that. Then change the thumbnail and then go check back in like, 2 more weeks, because then it gives you a similar thing. And you can check back in on it, just see if it, makes a difference or not, within like 24 hours. But I would give it about the same amount of time so you can make sure that you're, getting, or at least the same amount of impressions, so that you can make sure that you're getting like a, apples to apples comparison there. Okay, so really quick, I need to step away for about 30 seconds. So I don't think I've played this on the TubeSpanner channel yet, so I'm just going to play this really quick because I don't have one of these for the TubeSpanner channel. Oops. So let me take that down. Nope. And I'm going to play this really quick. I'll be back in 30 seconds.
Give me a Joe, I'll be getting my fix in my kitchen, but look at the logo, the plug for the show. Whoa. It don't matter the flavor, I'm gonna get haters. A cup or a pot of the gold, I just need you to hold for a little bit longer. This song ain't a joke, it's a banger, you know or you don't. You will hang or you won't, but this thing isn't stopping till it's at the top. And I go back upstairs, man, I hope I don't drop it, I know that it's hot. It might seem one's enough, but apparently not. Take a cinnamon shot, mix it up on the spot. Give it a try, you might like it a lot.
All right, there we go. Okay, so back on track here. Yeah, I drank a bunch of water before the stream. So let's see here. So I think we got you covered here on your channel, because we've been doing this here for a while on yours. So I'm going to move on to another one. But same thing with you, Road Reality. If you have any questions about any of the things that I mentioned here, while we're looking at your channel, definitely, DM me on Twitter. I'll add any clarity to, anything that you need there. And just make sure at the top of your message that you put you reviewed my channel on TubeSpanner, and then I'll know that, I'll know what it is. I mean, with the name, I'm not sure if your name is the same on Twitter or not. So that will, that'll help me do that. All right, next up. Yeah, unhydrating, says Chantel. Absolutely. Okay, so next up on the list, let's see here. What TubeSpanner feature can I talk about? Let's do TubeSpanner extension. Boom. All right, fantastic. So what the TubeSpanner extension is, just in case you're not familiar with this, if you're not already a TubeSpanner user, is the TubeSpanner extension is a browser extension that you can use inside of Chrome. You can use it in Safari. You can use it in Firefox. I think it's available for Microsoft Edge as well. But basically, inside of the browser extension, you can, it has the upload assistant, where you can more efficiently upload videos, and you have the preset descriptions and things like that. You have ChatGPT built directly into that, so you can just start asking it questions and talking to ChatGPT right inside of the TubeSpanner extension. You can share your videos. So let's say you have a Twitter account or a LinkedIn account or a Facebook account, and you share your content there. Then what you can do is you can actually, from right inside of YouTube, without having to leave the YouTube platform, you can actually schedule your videos to be shared to any of the platforms that you want, which is fantastic. In addition to that, you can also, like, let's say you have a Twitter account, you can just sit there and schedule tweets without having to leave YouTube's interface as well. There's also a notepad. So when you're watching other videos on YouTube, you can use that. All kinds of, really, really cool features with the extension. Here, I can actually show you real quick while we're waiting for this, but it's TubeSpanner extension is the word that you want to put in. Waiting for it to pop up. There we go. Oh, another really cool part of the extension too is this. So this is a thumbnail testing tool. So what you can do here, let's see here. How can I do this where you don't? Let's see what happens if I click this. Oh, okay, you don't see it anyway. Okay, great. So one of the things that you can do with this is what I just did is I clicked the option to add a file, and it looks like my computer just froze. It did. So I'm not going to be able to do that. But anyway, let me try again here real quick, just because I want you to see this because it's super cool. Desktop, let's go grab a thumbnail. So I'm just going to do this. So basically, I just uploaded this thumbnail. And then here, I'm just going to put my channel name. And then I'm just going to leave catchy title here so you can see what it looks like. But then I hit preview. And then I close this, and you can see that it popped it up down here, right down here. And it randomly puts it in different places. But you can use this to help you identify, like, how does my thumbnail stand out against other thumbnails on here? And then you can be like, okay, this isn't standing out much. This one's actually standing out way more. So is this one. So because of that, maybe I need to update this, change the colors, whatever the thing is. But it helps you preview your thumbnails on pages of YouTube without having to do any like coding or anything like that, which is pretty cool. But you can see in here, this is the upload assistant that I was talking about before with the preset descriptions where you can add like, videos to your descriptions, things like that, like really easily. Here, you can share directly out to social media. Here, you can plan the shares that you have going out to social media, and you can actually schedule them in here. This is the Chat GPT that you can, talk to, ask it questions about, like, hey, write me a video descriptions, help me come up with 5 video titles about like whatever, all kinds of really cool stuff. But you can get this at TubeSpanner.com. Now let's go ahead and pull this puppy. All right, here we go. What's up, Jerry? Welcome to the stream, dude. Hope you're doing great. Show 7.2 says, is it all free? There's free features inside of TubeSpanner and there's paid features inside of TubeSpanner. So it depends on what it is that you're doing. So for the extension, you can use that for free. But I think for like the social sharing, I think it's limited to a certain number of shares. For the Chat GPT for free users, it's limited to a certain number of prompts. I think you can use the upload assistant in there though. But same thing with all of TubeSpanner's features is there's some of them that are paid, some of them that aren't. And the ones that are free, they do come with limitations because it's free, but you can use them. Okay, so we got OFC Media. All right, OFC Media, here we go, man. We're gonna grill you, OFC Media. All right, here we go. I'm just kidding. I'm just giving you a hard time. Okay, so let's make this big here. Monster Taming Games presented by OFC Media. So OFC Media joined the Monster Taming community, a gaming community that consists of more than just. So just a quick fine-tuning thing here. This isn't going to make a difference on your channel, but I would definitely try to make this as succinct as possible, just so that before YouTube truncates it, you can get in the message that you're trying to share. Because most people aren't going to click on this. Some people will, but most people aren't going to click on it. So you want to be able to deliver that message right there, or at least have the most important stuff. If this is the most important stuff, then it's fine how it is. Monster Taming Games. So I guess let's see here. What is the Monster Taming community? I've never heard of this before. I've never heard of Monster Taming. Is it a game? Monster Taming a game? Yeah, for the Monster Taming game. Okay, so it is. Got it. Okay, game trailer, music credit. Okay, a few things. So this is another one to where you have an opportunity here. So I would take that opportunity. So since this is your trailer, the goal of this piece of content is to inform people of what it is. 86 does do the grilling around here. But what this is an opportunity to kind of pitch your channel, let people know what it is that you're doing, and how it's going to add value to them. So one thing that I would definitely do here is, instead of having all this music credit and stuff and all that, you can keep that in there, but just fill this out to where you just have some more information about what it is that you're actually offering the viewers. If you're going to use it as a trailer spot, then fully use it as a trailer spot, and then have, either additional information here or just have a succinct message about, what it is that you're actually doing here on the channel. Videos a day ago, 3 days. Okay, you're on the grind with these uploads. Love it. Breaking content down into sections on your channel page. Love it. Okay, let's get into the actual video content itself over here. Okay, Monster Masters for mobile. So this is another one where here you have Monsters Masters for mobile. This is another one to where you have the opportunity here to be more compelling. So since the goal of us as content creators is to get people to click on our content, and because this is something that we run into a lot when we're doing channel reviews, everybody here, if you're a YouTube content creator, you should definitely start looking into content or books or reading articles about psychology, sales psychology, marketing psychology, and copywriting. And the reason for that is because there is a big difference in being informative. Again, informative is enough, but if you want to level it up, then you definitely want to start making these more compelling, right? So I would definitely start looking into those things for everybody here. If you're new to YouTube, or if you're just like, hey, I have trouble with titles, then I would start looking into all of that for that reason. Basically, figuring out how to write sales copy is essentially what you're doing. And that will help you write better titles. You might not nail it all the time, but you might. But it'll definitely level up your titles in a massive way. Yeah, like here, like Monster Masters for mobile. Let's get some examples here. So I'm not sure exactly what this is. Here, let me see what you have in the description, and we'll find out real quick. Media is going to be the best and top YouTube channel for videos of monster gaming games. This video discusses mobile gaming called Monster Matters. Okay. So first off, I just want to give you a heads up on something. So when you are publishing videos to YouTube, and this is something that people don't really talk about that much, but one of the factors when it comes to search rankings, when it comes to YouTube recommending your content to people, one of the things that are a huge factor is how well their system understands what your content's about. So in your particular case, it's probably pretty clear in the video content that it's about the Monster Masters stuff. And you have Monster Masters here in your title. So you're on the way, but also I would completely write out a description. So what YouTube recommends is they recommend that you write a paragraph or two about what it is that's happening in the video. Because one, this informs the viewers that are going to explore that. And two, it also gives their system a little bit more context about what your video is about. So because of that, just make sure that you do start writing like full descriptions. Again, you don't have to fill the whole description box, but just like a small paragraph. Two, if you really want to do it. And all you do is just talk about, hey, we're going to be showing this, maybe we, do some of this or we do some of that, whatever, but just talk about what it is that you're doing in your video, and their system basically sees that or reads it, and then it takes that into context for recommendations. Love, just really quick on some quick wins here. I love that you are putting, links to other content in here. That's a really smart move. By doing this, you're making it easier for people to find your content, which is a win. This is funny. I had this happen on another channel review stream I did this week. So this thing right here that you're doing, I just want to let you know, and I don't have a way to let you know except for publicly. So you're going to need to change this, kind of fast, but it's not going to be a problem unless you actually get reported for it. But what you're doing right here, this is actually called misleading metadata on YouTube. And this is a violation of the community guidelines. So most people, they don't know this. They don't know that doing this is a violation. Hashtags are fine to put in your video description like this, but tags, you can actually lose your entire channel. Like if somebody were to report this and then YouTube had somebody go and actually review your channel, then in that particular case, they would be like, hey, they're violating guidelines here on this video, this video, this video, this video, and they can take them all down. And when they do that, you get strikes. And if you get, those 3 strikes, then your channel's completely gone. So I know you say right here that you're removing it today. Good move. But yeah, so when it comes to this, go through all of your videos and make sure that you remove this block of text from that. The technical term is called misleading metadata. The way that humans say it is what Doug said right here is tag stuffing. It's also known as like keyword stuffing too, but you definitely want to avoid that. One easy fix for this is to just take all of these, make them like make it all kind of like one word. So it would be a hashtag and then just put hashtags, because you're allowed to have up to 60 hashtags, in your video description, but you are not allowed to tag stuff like this. And really quick, DNA Resin says, are tags not allowed? Tags are allowed, but they're allowed in the tag box. They have, like when you upload your videos, they have a specific tag section. That's where your tags go. This right here, YouTube, their view on this is that you're trying to game the system by putting all these words in here that are just for the purpose of their crawlers looking at it and then being like, oh, hey, it's about this, it's about this. So another thing that you can do here, OFC Media, is since you're putting these tags in here anyway, some of these are going to be relevant, some of them probably aren't. But what you can do is you can use some of those in regular written language in your description. So remember how I just mentioned about writing a video description, writing a paragraph, maybe 2 paragraphs. What you can do is you can say, we're covering the Monster Masters game, period. Monsters Masters is a game that blah, 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 period. Monster Masters also has a mobile game, which this particular video is also focused on, where I'm going to show you the best features and showcase my favorite parts of this monster taming game. Right? So you don't have to do that with all of them, but the idea is to just be like, okay, like what am I actually targeting here? Like what keywords am I actually targeting? Which based on your title, I'm going to guess that it's just Monster Masters. But like what am I actually targeting with this? And then just kind of build in natural language, build some of those things into what it is that you're talking about. Yeah, you might have dodged something on this one, so I'm glad you were here today. Yeah, you're pinning comments too. This is also a win. So yeah, back to the title. That was the original thing that I clicked into this for. So here you have Monster Masters for mobile, and this is fine. But I would definitely try to work on the compelling nature of the title. So for example, Monster Masters for mobile. Why? And again, this starts at ideation, right? Like when you're deciding on making the video, why Monsters Masters for mobile is an amazing game, or is a, must play, or, something like that. Those types of things just make it, more interesting. So a really easy way to do this also is to think through, like for everybody here, when you're writing thumbnails or when you're making thumbnails and titles, is thinking to yourself, okay, if I were to hop onto YouTube right now and I was on my phone and I'm just sitting there scrolling and I'm just looking and I have a thumbnail that grabs my attention and it's clear that it's about this Monster Masters game in this scenario, then if I see the title and it says Monsters Masters for mobile, is that going to get me excited about that video at all? Or is it going to be like, oh, Monsters Master for mobile, I have that already, and then just kind of swipe on, right? Or I already play that and then swipe on. Or when you do like, Monsters Masters for mobile, why everybody should be playing this game, then in that particular case, Monster Masters for mobile people will be like, I'm playing this game. I wonder why they think that other people should be playing this game. People that don't play Monsters Mobile are like, oh, this might be a good game. Let me check it out, right? So it just makes it just more interesting. You're adding more oomph to it, so to speak, more impact. So when you are writing your titles, I would just start running through that exercise of like, okay, if this were to show up for me, what about this would make me feel like, oh yeah, I need to check out this video, right? This video is gonna share something with me that I really want to know, and because of that, I would click on it, right? Versus like, okay, this is just Monsters Masters for mobile. which doesn't really say anything about what it is that you're doing in the game, what it is that you're sharing. I don't know if it's a review. I don't know if you are giving me some, tips and tricks about it. Like, I don't know what you're doing in the video. It's just telling me that it has something to do with Monsters Masters for mobile, right? So adding that type of clarity can make a big difference in how people respond to your videos. Some of your videos are doing well too. Yeah, okay, this is a good example, right? The 7 sins of the monster taming community. So like this type of thing, right? It's like, oh, well, what are people doing wrong, right? And this one did well. Review of first Nexicon game. Yeah, same here, right? Monster Haven 2D game. No real information there, right? Paleto Pines Dinosaur Ranching, same thing. No real information there. Also, oh, okay. So the monster, it's a whole genre. It's not just one specific video. Okay, I get it now. Yeah. So another tip I'm going to give you, really quick, is, oops, this right here. And keep in mind, this is if you're like, hey, I'm trying to be super strategic with my content, then do what I'm getting ready to tell you. But if you're like, hey man, I'm playing these games and I'm like sharing with people the the games that I really like to play, then in that case, don't worry about what I'm using or what I'm getting ready to show you until you're like, yeah, I do want to, focus on like, things that are on the rise and stuff like that. But let's say, for example, we got Paleto Pines Dinosaur Ranching. I'm going to try to copy this out here. Give me 1 second. There we go. So one thing that you can do is you come here, you go to the Explorer. I'm just going to put this in and see kind of what pops up. Okay, we do have people looking for that specifically. And then we're going to do Oblets. Okay, so Oblets is a game. So I'm going to skip the monster taming part. And I'm just going to do Oblets. And then I'm going to do Paleo Pines Dinosaur Ranching. Boom. Search term. Make sure that, Ooblets. Sorry, not Oblets. Okay, that's also search term. I'm going to change this to, we'll say, the past 90 days. Get a general idea of the popularity here of, just the, people looking around for things. I guess Oblets, maybe it's new or something, I'm not sure. And then I'm going to change this here to YouTube search. And then I'm going to see like, okay, what are people looking for more on YouTube? It looks like neither of these are super popular. At least, in the US, they might be, worldwide. Let's do a quick check. And not a huge difference there. But basically, what you can do if you are being super strategic, which is what you said here in the chat, is you can, Jake the Danish guy, basically I have this tool that I use right here, and we put a word in the in this. So basically, hold on. So basically I have this right here, and then I just put a word here, and then people just have to put that word into the chat, and then it randomly selects people. But basically what you can do is for the games that you're like, okay, these are some games that I'm thinking about highlighting, is you can come in here and you can look for the popularity. So like here we can see, I'm just going to pick another one too. I'm going to do Tales of Tenorio. Let's see what we got here. Tales of Tenorio. Did I spell that right? I did. Okay. Double check. Yep. Okay. So yeah, so basically I'm comparing these three, right, to see what people are, looking for, interested in. And it looks like none of these are super popular games, but out of these three, it looks like Ooblets might be the one that is kind of carrying the weight here. So if we scroll down, other things that you can look for here that can help like what people are actually interested in around the games is you can see here, and keep in mind, this is the 90-day view. So in reality, you'd want to take this down to like, this is to let you know, like, hey, is this something that's on the rise? Which thing is more popular over time? Is it on the increase? Is it on the decline? That's what you use these longer date range views for. But if you're wanting to see like, hey, what are people actually interested in right now? Then you can take it to like 7 days or less. You can even take it down to past hour, past day to see if people are kind of getting over something. But here I'm just going to look, okay, nothing's going on over the past day. 7 days probably going to be the same. Oh, yeah. So here it looks like there's been a 70% increase over the past 7 days of people looking for an Ooblets review, right? So what this does is this helps you be able to identify things, and this is actually on the rise too. So this helps you be able to identify opportunities about content that you can make that increases your likelihood of, you know, people being interested in the actual content that you're publishing too, right? So so when you are deciding on like what games to play and things like that, using this is definitely a great way to just make sure that you're stepping into the right games. If you're being strategic, if you're not just sharing games that you like, to make sure that you're stepping into the right games that are actually either on the rise or have steady amounts of interest in them, and using the breakout area to look for things that people are actively, you know, interested in right now. So hopefully that helped. And by the way, everybody here can use that tool. Not everybody, but most people here can use that tool for the type of content that you make. Okay, so OFC Media, just a heads up. Same thing with you. If you you know, need me to add any clarity to anything or whatever, you can DM me on Twitter. My DMs are open. Just make sure at the very top line of the message, you just mention that that I looked at your channel on TubeSpanner. Now we're going to go into here and do TubeSpanner. What are we going to do? Let's do assistant. You know, let's do that. Well, let's do notes. Let's do something easy. There we go. TubeSpanner notes. Hey, what's up, Brian? Nice seeing the chat, man. Hope you're doing awesome. He was the first one in there with TubeSpanner. Wham! But we are still working on it. Yeah, my throat's been a little scratchy today. I was going to make some videos too, but my throat's been a little scratchy. Made a bunch of stuff yesterday and the day before, so that's probably why. Yeah, and while we're putting those in and we're waiting for those to come in, so check this out. So the reason I did TubeSpanner notes is because let's say that I was watching this video right here and he had some really cool tips on this game. Then what I can do is I can go up here and I can click on add notes, because this little section up here is for TubeSpanner. And I click add notes. Hold on. Permission not allowed for this user to view own project content. So Danielle, if you're in here, I just caught an error on the add notes section. Permission denied. Visit your account settings to upgrade your membership. All right. Well, I guess my membership's not high enough to show that. So yeah. I guess I gotta go in there and upgrade my account for TubeSpanner. Okay. So here we go. We got 42. Nothing I enjoy more, just really quick for everybody here, nothing I enjoy more than trying to showcase something live on a stream when we got like 70 something people in here watching and it not function. Oh, love it. Absolutely love it. This happens to me like on like every tool, just because it's all software, right? So it's all software and, you know, that kind of thing happens. But I just think it's funny. Okay, globetrotting from Poland. So we've got, here we go, from Poland. That's cool. Theater at Home's like, I almost won. It was close. It was close. Maybe next time. Okay, globetrotting from Poland. Good, nice camera quality in there. Got that nice bokeh, that nice blurry background going on. Love it. Okay, globetrotting from Poland, journey beyond borders, from Poland to the world. Okay, globetrotting from Poland. So I'm getting the idea that you are traveling. So from Poland to the world, join me globetrotting from Poland. Okay, pretty clear. So see here for you, lost and found, the most unexpected thing. Got it. April Fool's Adventure, hunting open stores on that day. Exploring this town center on Palm Sunday. Moved to Poland. Okay. So these are all still relevant, I think, to what it is that you're doing. You've got your channel page set up, or you're leading people into specific content. You got your shorts on here. Let's Let's go into the videos tab. Let's start working on some stuff. April Fool's Day's hunt. So with content like this after the fact, I wouldn't even worry about publishing this kind of thing, because it's like, we're past that by a month. So because of that, I wouldn't put up things like that are that far behind. Like if you're going to do holidays, those are things to where you want to publish those while people are actively, seeking out content on those holidays. Circus Escape and here. Yeah, okay, so this is another one in terms of the compelling nature of your titles, right? And also understanding who it is that you're reaching. So both of those things are very important for what it is that you're doing. So the very first is this Circus Escape and Razal. I'm not sure how you say that. But a few things to consider here is if you are just sharing your adventures, then in that particular case, make this more exciting, because here, this is kind of like on the last channel that we were looking at, how it was just like an informative title, but it didn't really say anything, right? It's just kind of like, the game and then mobile, but it didn't really say anything. This is the same exact thing. It's like, okay, Circus Escape here. Okay, well, what's going on? Like, what are you sharing with me? Why should I watch this video, right? There's 0% that's compelling about this. In addition to that, the thumbnail, and I know you kind of got to work with what it is that you got to work with in situations like this, because like you're taking the photos and all that stuff, like when the lights are low and things like that. So I understand, but one thing that like the packaging just all the way around on this is lacking clarity in most ways that you can. So like if you look right here, we have Circus Escape and Razal. That doesn't give any real information about like what I can expect there. I don't know if you're giving it a review, if you're just sharing like your experience as you go, if you're giving people like tips on things that they should do to prepare for it, if you're highlighting specific parts of the show, if you're making it where I watch the entire show during your video. Like I'm not sure exactly what it is that you're giving me here or presenting to me. And it's really hard to see what is actually happening here, because all of this red and everything, like it all just kind of washes together and you can't really see much. And I know that you have Circus Escape here, but this is also about as helpful as this for somebody that is not already familiar with that Circus Escape, right? And if they're already familiar with the Circus Escape, they've already been there. So because of that, they're probably not going to be interested in that video anyway. But for the people that you're trying to take on adventures with you, when you have this with an actual value attached to it or something interesting attached to it, something compelling, then that makes it more interesting to people that are not familiar with any of this. And then when you use imagery of something cool going on, you don't even need to put the Circus Escape on there. You just have the photo of something cool, but it needs to be a clear picture, like a picture where you can clearly make out everything at a glance, because the whole game with YouTube is everything is at a glance. So all successful content creators, if you look at their thumbnails, you're going to see that there's real clear focuses. Like they're focusing people on a very specific thing. And they're also designed in a way to where like you'll focus on one thing and then your eye's going to go over the other thing and then to another thing. Those are like the top level creators. And then underneath that, you have people that are like, okay, we're just going to focus on this thing, but maybe we're not being as, detailed in terms of first they're going to see this, then they're going to see this, then they're going to see this, type of approach. And then as you keep going down, then it keeps getting less and less in terms of, the intentionality behind the thumbnails. But yeah, in your particular case, I would definitely I would go in right now and I would repackage this and I would repackage it based on, of course, like what it is that's going on in the video, but I would just be more clear about what it is that you're offering, because right now there's just no clarity whatsoever. And right here, you have you in here. And I also don't think that that's necessary. So I would take off this text. I would take off, the picture of you down here, because that's not necessary. I would add more clarity here. And when you're adding this clarity, and again, I don't know what's in the actual video itself, but however you end up reframing this, I would think about it like this. The most people that are going to see this particular thumbnail and title and have the opportunity to watch this video are going to have no idea about what this circus escape in this particular area is. Because of that, how can I set this up from the outside to where it makes people that are interested in travel, or it makes people that are interested in circuses, or it makes people that are interested in whoever it is that you're trying to reach, to where it would make sense to them if they were to see it on YouTube's homepage or in on the mobile feed, to where it would make sense to them and make them want to come in and watch it, right? I would definitely think of that. Another thing that you're doing here, and this is kind of like the camping channel that we looked at earlier too, is here. This is pet relocation simplified. So I'm guessing that with this particular one, you're teaching people how to get their pets from one country to another, which is super valuable content. For this one, I would actually optimize this one for search because people are going to be looking for this. I would do like how to relocate your pet to other countries or something like that. Because through this imagery here, I'm kind of getting that's what this is about. But you have pet relocation simplified, so there's no reason to redo that here in the title. Instead, I would optimize this one for search. So I would say like how to I would hop up in the YouTube search bar, right? I'd go up here and then I'd go how to relocate pets. How to relocate a cat, right? See what we got. Okay, moving long or short distance with a cat, moving with cats, how to help a cat adjust a new home. But you can see, the stuff that people are responding to here. So basically come here for some ideas, and it doesn't have to be about cat, but it can be about pets, right? How to relocate a pet. Not tons of, this isn't like a huge thing, but how to relocate, how to move pets to another country. Yeah, but anyway, I would go in and I would do this type of, just kind of looking in, seeing what, what you're competing with here. And I would definitely repackage that one too. And I would just try with that one. I would just try to position it to where it's solving a problem, and that you're targeting it for search. You're targeting it for a search phrase that's solving the problem of relocating the pet, as long as that's what the video is about. And I would just repackage it around there and just let it ride, and hopefully it'll get search traffic. Another good thing about search traffic when it comes to YouTube for videos like this, keep in mind recommendations is where you get fast views and where you can like really blow up a channel quickly. Search traffic is great for defining your audience, getting the right people to click every time, and for just super stable traffic over a long period of time. But the unfortunate part of search is that you got to wait for people to look for it, right? So you can double dip, which is what I call it, where you are optimizing something for search, but then you're also being mindful of the compelling nature of it and how people are going to respond to it when they see it on home pages and stuff as well. You can do that also. But in this particular case, I would just go bare bones and optimize this for search. Yeah, things like this too. It's official. Again, nothing compelling about that. It's official. I got my temporary Polish residency. This is another one to where, and again, this would also start at the ideation stage. But here, in order for people to be interested in this video, people have to already be like super into what it is that you're doing, right? For them to be like, oh, she got it, right? So because of that, when you are putting out videos like this, I would try to make this more about the viewer, right? Instead of like, it's official, I got my temporary Polish residency, that makes everything about you. If you did how I got my Polish residency, and then you put a Polish flag up here with maybe you on the side or something like that in the thumbnail, then in that particular case, what you're doing there is you're framing it from the outside like, okay, this was my experience of how I did it, which then suggests that there's a value that is going to help other people understand how they might go about it, right? So as long as that's what you're sharing, within the video content, then, kind of reframing that one too. And this is another one to where it's important to remember when it comes to thumbnails, that the job of the thumbnail is to grab somebody's attention, right? To just be like, oh, hey, this is about something, that I'm interested in some way. And just putting like a Polish flag on here and maybe like Polish flag, maybe you know, over on this side, Polish flag right here, and then maybe the word like residency underneath it. And then that way, somebody that's already, you know, watching content around Poland and things like that, those people are already going to be familiar with the Polish flag, what it looks like. They're going to be seeing that flag probably on their home pages, all that kind of stuff. And they're going to be able to make that connection. They're going to see the flag. They're going to see the word residency. They're going to look over and see you. And then they're going to go down to the title. If they don't already click into it, they're going to go down to the title and be like, oh, this is how they did it. Let me hear their story. Right. Video Man 2000 says that I'm telling the same thing that Rob did. Yeah. So, you know, like the whole thing, right? Like when all of us on all of our different channels, when we all do, you know, these types of things, we all lean on, you know, our experience and on what works, right? So, you know, all of us have worked with channels, all of us, you know, do this ourselves, you know, as well. And, you know, there's certain things that work. So unfortunately, when somebody starts a YouTube channel, they don't always, you know, they don't always know all of these things, right? It's just stuff that you have to learn over time. And like for me, I've been doing this for, you know, almost a decade. So, you know, it's kind of second nature. But you know, for somebody that's getting started, these are just things that you might not think about because as a content creator, you know, you're thinking like, hey, I'm uploading videos. I got to make my videos good and I got to make a good thumbnail and title. But a lot of times people don't necessarily think like, okay, and this is where being intentional when it comes to what it is that you're doing, everything you're doing on YouTube really can bring loads of reward because you start approaching everything differently. So instead of like, oh, hey, I got this video done. Now let me make a thumbnail for it and get it up there. You start thinking things like, okay, let me go make this big here real quick. But you start thinking things like, okay, if I'm going to make this video, right? Because you start with the video idea. And you start with, okay, if I'm going to make this video, then what type of thumbnail am I going to make for this video and what type of title? And you don't just stop there. You say, okay, well, if I'm going to make a thumbnail that's like this, then what type of viewer will this possibly capture? If I'm going to make the title about this and the video idea, you know, if I'm going to make them about this, is this going to be for like a smaller segment of the people that might be interested in my content? Or is this going to be for a larger segment of people that might be interested in my content? And if it is for a smaller one, is there a way that I can, you know, kind of transform this idea just a little bit to make it more accessible for a wider range of people? Like, for example, you know, on the motorcycle channel that we were looking at, they had a video about a very specific location that was shutting down. That's great for the people in the area. But for everybody else in the world, that's an extremely limited amount of people that would be interested in that particular video. The market just isn't there for it, right? So when you're at that ideation stage, it's important to think about those things. And when you're kind of sketching out your thumbnail and you're like, hey, this is what I'm going to do for the thumb, you start thinking to yourself like, okay, if this were to show up in suggested videos and it's at a small size, or anywhere on YouTube and it's a small size, then is it going to be clear the thing that I'm really trying to get people to focus on for this? And as a matter of fact, what is it that I'm trying to get people to focus on? So when they see this thumbnail that I'm sketching out, like what's the thing that's going to be the most important to the viewer that's going to help them identify that this is about something that they could possibly be interested in or that they're already interested in, right? And then from there, then you start thinking about the title itself, and you start thinking of like, okay, if I'm going to, you know, have the title as this, then is this going to be limiting the video in any way? Is this going to be clear? Is this going to be compelling? How exactly is it compelling? How exactly, and this is the intentionality part, how exactly when this goes live on YouTube and it shows up on somebody's homepage, how exactly is this going to help the target people I'm trying to reach identify this is about something they care about? And what exactly about this title is going to compel them to click on it, right? What's going to take it from being informative to being like, oh, I feel I need to see that video, or I need to watch that video, right? And when you start being that intentional about what it is that you're doing, it can make a really big difference, because what you're doing there is you're just thinking through the whole thing. Same exact thing goes with where you're trying to get your views from. So when you are trying to get your views from YouTube search, you take a different approach than if you're trying to get views from recommendations. And that starts at the video idea as well. So when you're being intentional about what it is that you're doing, it just helps you have it helps you create much better stuff for your audience. But two, it also helps ensure that every move that you're making is as good as you can do for that moment in time for what it is that you're doing. Let's see here. Yeah, and really quick on the other channels being reviewed and stuff. It's fine. Yeah, like no problem there at all in terms of channel reviews and like stuff like that. Like if somebody's reviewed on every other channel and they come here, they're welcome here too. Yeah, it's totally fine. Yeah, other things too, like with your thumbnails here, and you're already doing them differently than what you were doing months ago. But another big mistake that YouTubers make is they lean on templates like this, right? Like what you're doing here is, and I know that it's like, okay, this big panel of orange is something that's going to grab attention. It is, but there's no information, right? There's no information here at all. So, because of that, I would like, if this was my channel, I would go in and I would update these thumbnails. Like every thumbnail that has these big swatches of orange on them, I would just remake all of these thumbnails and make it with something that makes sense for what it is that the video itself is actually about. Because these types of things, like this type of thumbnail is not the path to getting a lot of people to respond to your videos. You might have an outlier here or there, but at scale, yeah, that's not the way. So yeah, so like in your case, I would definitely right now would start working on your thumbnails. And for the videos that you publish, I would also a couple things. One, make sure that you're keeping up with the time, right? I wouldn't publish like a month later after holidays. In addition to that, I would try to make things a little bit more clear and interesting from the outside through all the things that I explained earlier. I would also just get a little bit more clear also on exactly what it is that you're doing, because here, or who it is that you're trying to reach, because when it comes to travel content, there's people that travel and they're looking for tips, and there's people that can't travel or they won't travel or whatever, or they won't travel for a while, and they're kind of using your content as entertainment content or to live vicariously through you and your adventures and other YouTube travel channels adventures, and just to find out more about the world and stuff like that, even though they might not be going somewhere. So I would get clear on who it is that you're trying to reach there. And the reason I'm saying that is because this is a help video for people that are relocating. This is technically a help video for people that are relocating. This right here is more of a like, hey, I went and did this thing, come and watch it type of video. So it's not for people that are relocating. Yeah, same exact here. This is also not a like help video in any way. Anniversary day. Yeah, this is more of like a follow along. Uncovering hidden gems. This could kind of go either way, that particular one, but basically getting clear on like which segment of that travel audience you're going after, and then aggressively publishing content for them would be the move there. So yeah, same thing with you. If you have any questions or you need clarity on any of that, feel free to DM me on Twitter. Just at the top of the message, just say that that I reviewed your channel here on the TubeSpanner channel. Okay, so let's do another one here. And for this one, let's do... no, here we go. Here's one. Do I want TubeSpanner? Let's see if we can get that into your mind, into your subconscious. Oh, I'm just kidding. Just having fun. So how this works, if you are just joining us, is all you got to do is write that in the chat. And then when you write that into the chat, you only have to do it once. It only counts you once anyway, but it's going to put it here. And once it's up here, I'm going to hit this draw button. And when I click this draw button, then it's going to randomly select somebody that put that in there. And keep in mind, only do this if you want feedback on your channel. And seriously, like just a heads up, like if you are a content creator, you can do it after the stream is over, or you can do it now. It's your call. But if you haven't checked out TubeSpanner yet, like seriously, like check it out. And I know that you probably feel like, hey, Nick's trying to like, get me to sign up for TubeSpanner, and I am. But I am because I only endorse and support tools that are of value to content creators, and I've always been that way. For 10 years, I've only supported tools that actually add value to content creators, and TubeSpanner is one of those tools. So depending on where you're at in your journey, there's going to be something in there that can help you, but I know everybody doesn't need help with everything. So because of that, I just encourage you to just go check it out and see if there's any tools in there that you think will add value to you. And you can do that at tubespanner.com. Or there's a direct link down in the video description too. But at least check it out so that you can, see the different features that it has and see, if you think any of that will add value to you or not. Okay, here we go.
Let's get this thing spinning.
All right, we got Homemaking Queen. I'm not sure if I should pull this up or if I should bow. I'm not sure which one. Okay, so let's see here. I thought my fiance was the only queen, but looks like we've got a Homemaking Queen too. So here we go. We've got Homemaking Queen, almost 9,000 subscribers. Nice work. Yeah, you're crushing. Just a heads up. Just in case you don't know that, you are crushing. What you've already achieved on YouTube is really hard to do. You're doing awesome. So I just want you to know that. So Homemaking Queen, just your channel name in general lets me know that you're doing stuff about homemaking. So that's pretty clear. Welcome to Homemaking Queen, your go-to for all things homemaking. Perfect. It cuts off these other things, but you've got the important part there. So if you don't have it yet, you're missing an opportunity here. So hold on, let me see. I'm not going to click on that because you just published it. Let me go to this one. Okay, so you already have an Amazon store. So I would put that Amazon store here instead of having your Instagram here. I mean, it's your call. You don't have to, but yeah, I would just to send people over there. Or if you have the ability to make a website, like the technical ability, and really there's website builders out there that are super cheap nowadays and really easy to use. But I would either put your Amazon store link there, or having your Instagram's fine. I'm just trying to help you make more money from your content, or have a website that you make. Just go get homemakingqueen.com or homemakingqueenofficial.com, something like that. And then Homemaking Queen store, something like that. And then basically make a really simple website. But then on that website, put all of the different things that you recommend on there, and then have that, right there in that particular spot. Because, you have people interacting with your content. You got 295 videos. Some of those videos are bringing people in. And since those videos are bringing people in, you're just kind of missing an opportunity there. So I would definitely, do that. Other things that you can do, and this is more on the marketing side, but because you do have people into what it is that you're doing and because of the subject matter that you're talking about, another thing that you might want to consider as well, if you don't do the website there, or you don't try to send people to a store, is use that as an opportunity to get people on an email list. Right? Start a little newsletter club of, letting people, know, one, when your videos are published, two, also, giving people little cleaning tricks and things like that within their emails. Send that out weekly, have affiliate links within those emails, and then drive people to, products, through that as well. I just think you're missing an opportunity there with the type of content that you make. There's more work that comes with it, and you might be busy already. That might be too much already. I'm not sure. But that's definitely an opportunity that that I think that you could take advantage of. Okay. So you got everything organized here on the channel, which is good. Go into the videos real quick. So one thing that I would do if you're not doing this already is I would experiment with more simple thumbnails. So if you look here, it looks like your most popular videos, with the exception of this one, are all more simple. They're all little text heavy, I think. But most of these, actually, no, all of these, I guess not this one. Yeah, as we start getting into lesser views, we've got some more of those cluttered ones. But yeah, one of the things that I was going to mention was, trying to simplify. Let me make this bigger. I apologize. Trying to, simplify the thumbnails, because the current stuff that you're doing, it's just stuff all over the place, right? And you're kind of leaning on the text here because there's so much messy stuff going on. Another thing to consider is when this is viewed at a small size, like here, let me open this tab. So for people that are on a computer, if they are watching this video, you can see how small things are over here on this side, right? So you'll be doing yourself, actually, you can see your thumbnails right here, right? See how hard it is to make out what's going on over here? It's just like a big cluster of stuff. You've got some of these, like makeover might grab their attention. Sunday Reel is really hard to read right here. Yeah, day in the life of a homemaker. Yeah, but you can see how difficult it is for people to have that clarity here when this is at a small size. So I would definitely start working on your thumbnails and just kind of testing different things with clarity. But I mean, right here out of the gate, we can see that out of your top 10 videos, yeah, it looks like 2 of them they have cluttered thumbnails. And even the clutter for these, it's not fully cluttered like the ones that you have. It's this one is, but this one here just has 4 panels on it. So yeah, I would definitely work on simplifying your thumbnails and just test it, see if it gets a better response. Another thing, just as a heads up, that you may not be aware of is YouTube put out, I think they mentioned this in a video, I think maybe a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago. But they mentioned that titles with like all caps like this, sorry, I did the wrong one there. Titles with all caps like this, typically across the platform, they typically get clicked on less. And I know you're probably going to say, well, this one has 4,000 views on it compared to the ones, where I don't do that. But across the platform, YouTube put that information out. So it's just something that you might want to consider. The use of fonts in your thumbnails, I would stray away from these, how can I say this? These like cursive looking fonts. And the reason for that is if you just look at the screen right now, that you're seeing here, if you just look here, you can't see what that says. You can't tell what that says. You might be able to tell because you wrote it, but as somebody that's not familiar with the content, I have to really struggle in order to read that says budget-friendly meals, right? So when it comes to YouTube, effectiveness is more effective than pretty, right? So even though that does look cool, and it probably looks better when it's large inside of Photoshop or Canva or TubeSpanner, whatever it is that you make your thumbnails in, because TubeSpanner has a thumbnail maker too. But when you are putting your thumbnails together, the thing that you should be focused on is this super easy for people to read? Yes or no? And if there's any part of it that is a no, then don't even put it in there. Don't put it in there, or make it easy to read, right? So this is another one, mobile home refresh. You can see here, almost impossible to read down here on it actually is. Like from here, it is impossible to read that, impossible to read that, impossible to read that. So I would definitely stop doing that and just focus on the bigger words. If that's what you're, if you're going to have those bigger words in there, focus on those. I would update this thumbnail right now with something a little bit more clear. Like you're winning here with these longer videos because YouTube loves that right now. They love long videos as long as people will watch them. Just because you collect tons of watch time on them, they can serve ads in there. Like they're just loving long content right now. But when it comes to the thumbnails, I definitely think that you need to simplify what it is that you're doing. Another thing that you're doing as well is if we actually go into this title for this video, what you're doing is you're not actually writing a title. So you're doing mobile home clean with me, cleaning motivation, mobile home living, and homemaking queen, right? I encourage you to write a title that is just a title, right? Just write a title that is just a title without all of the extra stuff in there. So having like one bar and then like something else, that's fine. But what you're doing right now is essentially keyword stuffing your titles. And that's also not a good thing in the eyes of YouTube either. And technically, you might be able to get a community guideline strike on this, but possibly not as well. It's kind of that gray area. But yeah, when it comes to titles, just write a title. And if you want to do like a bar and then like something else, then in that case, go for it. But I definitely would not put, I wouldn't be doing this for the titles. Also, you don't need to put Homemaking Queen in here. Like that's on your channel name. This doesn't help you in any way, having Homemaking Queen in here. Needs to be motivation. Please. Okay, all this is good. Also, is good. I love that you're putting all these words down here. Like this is the right way to do this in terms of getting in all those words that you're trying to show up for. Embrace it. Don't get to share likes. Oh, that's fine. Hashtags. Okay, so another thing that I recommend that you do as well, and this will help you make more money also, is right now the only option that you have really is Amazon storefront. So there's two things that I want you to do as soon as you get the opportunity to do it. The very first is instead of just having Amazon storefront, have my favorite home cleaning products link, right? This is just an internet marketing thing, but the idea is that you're being informative there and you're also adding to it. So it's like, hey, these are my favorite things, which I'm guessing they are. That's why you have them in your store. But like my favorite home cleaning products, right? So you have that. Also keep in mind, as an Amazon associate, you also need to, in order to avoid losing your Amazon Associates account, which right now might not be a big deal, but after you grow like after this thing is like really cooking and you're getting like tons of Amazon sales, eventually they're going to look at your account. And when they look at your account, if you do not have your Amazon affiliate disclaimer down here, letting people know that you're an Amazon associate and that you get a commission when people make a purchase, then you'll lose your Amazon account when they look into it. So because of that, because that's one of their requirements for being in that program, is you have to put very specific language. So if you just go to Google when you get the opportunity and you type in Amazon affiliate disclosure, then you're going to find, you might have to go through a few different things, but you're going to find the specific wording that you need to use. Make sure that you put that. Then once you have that in all of your video descriptions, then you're going to be compliant with Amazon. Okay. And you say right here, good to know I'm learning bad habits from bigger YouTubers in my niche. Yeah, that's really common. So people, it's kind of the way, really. It's kind of part of the path is like, you get started and you see other people doing it. You're like, oh, I wonder why they're doing that. Well, it's working for them, so I should probably do that too, right? But some of the things like, and trust me on this, I've worked with a lot of large creators too. Like there's a lot of large creators that have no idea what it is that they're doing. Like they're really good at making videos and they're good at getting people to click on those videos. But in terms of all of the other things around the channel and strategy and, and things like this, about making money, like a lot of people really don't know what it is that they're doing around that stuff. They're awesome at making videos, awesome at adding value, great personalities, all that stuff. But when it comes to all the things around the channel, yeah, a lot of people just don't know what they're doing. But yeah, so that's number one, is basically change this to like your favorite, products. And then somewhere in here, and you can even take these from your store if you want, put together a block list of like 4 or 5 Amazon products or whatever stores that you want, but 4 or 5 products that you think everybody should have in their home. So it doesn't matter for cleaning their home. So it doesn't matter if it's like a particular mop with a ringer on it that you use. It doesn't matter if it's an organizational thing. Doesn't matter what it is. But think about it through the lens of like, okay, if I was watching somebody else's video and they recommended these things to me, are they completely obvious that I would already have them and because of that I wouldn't buy them? Or would I find like a nugget or two in there where I'd be like, oh, I didn't even know they made this, right? And put together a list of those things. And you want to lean more on the I didn't know they made this side of things so that you can increase your chances of people buying something. But basically put together a little thing, just like you did here with this area, right? And the information that you're going to put together is going to say something along the lines of these these are these are my must-have, because you've already got your favorites leading people into your store. These are my must-have items that everyone should have in their house, or everyone should be using to clean, or something like that. And then say what the thing is, and then have a link to it. Say what the thing is, say how it helps, right? So it's like, this mop, whatever, it, makes floors. I never have streaks when I use this. Here's a link to it. And then, the next thing, and then the next thing, and the next thing. Just do just a few things. You don't need a big long list like this, but just get a few things. And here's the goal, right? The goal is that by doing these tiny little tweaks down here for your description, you are going to get more people clicking on those links. And as you already know, because you're in the Amazon program, if people click on that link and they make a purchase within 24 hours, if they buy your thing or not, then you're still going to get a commission, right? So because of that, what you're doing is you're setting it up to where, one, you're making it more clear what's in that storefront. That's why you just want to change the language for that one. And then two, by having that must-have list for the people that click into that, hopefully some people are going to find some things that are new to them to where they'll actually make purchases on those things. But for the people that don't, they're going to be like, oh, I've got that already. Oh, I've got that already. Oh, okay, I've got that thing already too. Okay, so cool. I'm clear. I got all these. But then if they make a purchase within 24 hours, after using your links, then you're still going to get a commission, right? So the goal is to either, one, lead people into new products, which hopefully you will, some people, but two, just to get people clicking on those links and hitting Amazon, so that when they go there, you get them cookied in to where if they make that purchase, then then you end up, getting a commission there. And really quick, you say you have a question. I'm stopping the makeovers as far as home renovations and makeovers, and they get most of my views, and I'm focusing only on cleaning and homemaking. Will that hurt my channel? So if people are coming in for makeovers, then YouTube has aligned your channel with people that are interested in that content. So because of that, yeah, you're probably still going to, it's not going to hurt you, but you might have a little bit of like a, thing, but actually, you know what? I don't think you will, because here we got this one. Okay, this one's a makeover. So yeah, that one is definitely not what you're wanting. But here, like cleaning motivation, still got 1.9 thousand views on that. You're good. Here, a refresh, mobile home living. I'm going to guess a refresh is the same thing as a makeover. So yeah, that's bringing in more too. Get it all done. Another makeover. Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Mobile home clean. Okay, so here you've got mobile home clean, right? Mobile home clean. Both of these got views. So yeah, I think you'll be fine. The makeovers are definitely, they're definitely loving those. And it might be something you want to lean into if you can. But if you're like, yeah, I just don't want to do those anymore, that's fine. But I would definitely, just spend that little extra time on your, on the cleaning content. But people are responding to the cleaning content too. So, I think you'll be fine. Yeah, 1.9 thousand here. Another makeover. Okay, clean with me. Yeah, so it looks like your cleaning videos are doing okay, but the makeover videos are doing better. So yeah, you might have like a little bit of like a, a little adjustment period going on, but like where you're at right now, you're totally fine to make that slight pivot, because you're not even really pivoting. You're just kind of losing one of the formats that you're doing, right? So you're just like, just kind of let that one kind of ride off into the sunset while I continue to, focus more on the cleaning stuff. So yeah, you'll be fine there. But yeah, hopefully that helps. Hopefully that helped you in some way. And again, if you have any questions or whatever, just DM me on Twitter. My DMs are open for anybody that I've looked at your channel. Just mention that I looked at the channel during the TubeSpanner live stream. So on that note, because I've been going for 2 hours here, and it is 1 a.m. where I am here in Thailand. So I'm going to wrap this up. I want to thank everybody for hanging out. I hope that you got some value out of the stream. Make sure you hit the like button on the way out. We are going to be doing another stream, I believe, next Friday. So, go ahead and mark that on your calendar so you can be here for that if that's something that you're interested in. In addition to that, make sure that you do check out TubeSpanner. Go to tubespanner.com so you can see, what it actually is and, how it can help you. And again, they have free features and paid features. Do whichever version that you, are, that works best for you for the features that you need. And again, for the channels that I did look at, if you have any questions about anything that I said, because I know I'll start going in one direction sometimes, and then I'll kind of hop over to here and, things like that. So if there's anything you need clarity on or anything that I said that you didn't understand, my whole thing here, with doing these channel reviews and the whole intention of TubeSpanner having me doing these channel reviews is to help you, better with what it is that you're doing. So if you have any questions, need clarity, just reach out to me on Twitter. Just make sure that you put that I, looked at your channel. And on that note, everybody have a great rest of your week, and I will say actually great weekend. Yeah, it's Friday. Woo! So yeah, have a great weekend, and I will see you next time.